Right, welcome to HotPOS Unboxed. This edition is for the Casio SEC-300 cash register. This is by far and away one of our biggest sellers. Perfect for cafes, small restaurants, general retail where you need a lot of individual department keys. This guy has 72 keys underneath this spill-proof keyboard, and it also does basic table tracking, which we will cover. And that's what makes it perfect for cafes and restaurants. Really just out of the box, it'll work for you without any further setup. As with all the Casio models, it's got a full 12-month warranty. Alright, so in the box we have our keys, cash register. You should have also bought a box of paper rolls to go with your till. These take the 57mm wide thermal rolls. Before we start, we need to put paper in the cash register. To do that, we need to open up the paper cover. If I just turn the machine around like that, you'll see there's a little lip at the back that pulls out like so. It just pulls up and forward. There is just one arm that you pull up like so. The paper simply sits at the bottom of the cavity, so there's nothing to feed through. Paper feeds from underneath, not from over the top. Okay, so we just sit that in the bottom. We make sure we've got enough paper poking out the front. We close the arm, click it into place, and we feed our paper through our display like so, so we can issue receipts. Just through the wrong section there, it just comes out the front like that. Alright, we can rip it off by the teeth, and we are ready to start the initial setup of the cash register. Okay, again, we're just using the setup guide here as per the HotPOS help website. I'm reading directly off the setup guide, so the steps I do here are exactly the steps you need to do. The first step is to turn on the machine at the power, so I'm just going to bend down now and plug him in. Okay. Alright, so we have our key in the register in the off position. We need to hold down the feed button here, and we hold that down while we turn the key around to the program position. We keep holding our finger down on the feed for about 5 seconds. Then we release our finger. On the screen we have a nit and a lot of zeros. We just have to enter an initialization code to start with to tell the till it's set up in Australia. To do that, we enter a number that's on the setup guide. In this case it's number 17240. 17240, and we press the subtotal button. We then just need to give the cash register a couple of moments to think about the program that's been entered. Usually takes about 3 or 4 seconds. Okay, so we've just come back after about 20 seconds. I was a little bit impatient there. Important to wait for the 20 odd seconds. You will get a printout after it finishes to just confirm the initialization. It will have the little number you entered in down the bottom. The register will move to program mode, PO1, and you'll see 0.00 on the display. Alright, so now we're going to tell the cash register that it's using Australian GST. To do that, we turn the key around to the X position on the key lock, like so. There will be a note up the top here to tell you you're in the X position. Just make sure it's firmly in. We then enter the code from the setup guide, which is clear, is 01012001. Press subtotal, and then press cash. Alright. We get a printout saying GST system was changed. Okay, next step is to tell the printer that it's a receipt printer rather than a journal printer, because we need the receipt to come out the front to issue to customers. So following the setup guide, we have our key around to the program position. We then press 1, then subtotal just to make sure we're in program 1 mode. We then enter 0 for receipt printer option as per the guide, then press the check button, and then we press subtotal. Alright, that just got a little bit jammed in there from my last receipt. I'll just pull that out the front so we can see that it's changed the options in there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to set the date and time. To do that, again, we make sure the key's in the program position, like so. And just going through the guide here now, we want to make sure we use a 24-hour format for the date. So we just enter the time. If we pretend it's 11:30, we're just going to enter hour, minute. So 11:30. Then we just press the X time key, like so. And we press clear. Now we're going to enter the date. Again, we keep our key in the program mode position. And then we enter in year, month, date. So if we say the year is 11, the month is 08, and the date is 10, like so. Then we just need to press the X/date time key again, and that gives us the correct date and time on our receipt. Also shows us on our customer display here. Now we're going to set up GST for our departments on the right hand side. Obviously they can be GST or non-GST. For most businesses in Australia, obviously most of our departments are GST. To do that, we make sure we have our key in the program position. We press 1, subtotal. We then go to our tax program button here, and we simply press it until the correct tax status appears in the top of our display. The first one is T/S1, which basically means tax status 1, which is our 10% GST. You can toggle through that. You press it 4 times and it comes to non-tax up here on the display. We use that for non-taxable items. In our example, in our shop, everything is GST, so we press tax program until it says tax status 1, which is our 10% GST. We then go through and we simply press each of our department buttons, like so. Obviously, if you've got some non-GST ones in between, you would need to change them. But this is just a quick way to make all your department buttons GST. Now, if we get to our last item here, let's say this is a non-GST department. At this stage, we'll just toggle our tax program button again. We would move to non-taxable. We press the last department to make it non-taxable. After completing, we press subtotal to finalise. But the next thing we can do on our Casio till is actually allocate some prices to our buttons here. Again, this is done with the key in the program position, like so. Now we enter again 1 subtotal, just following off the quick setup guide. We enter the price, not using the decimal point, so we're going to make our pot of tea here $3. We enter 300. Then press the department key, like so, and then you can continue to do prices, so $6 for the next one, $3 for the next department, and so forth, to continue entering all the prices off your menu. Once finished, just press subtotal, and that will save the prices to your buttons. The next thing we're going to do is allocate a description to the buttons. So on our pre-done keypad here, we've got pot of tea down here on the bottom left. We're going to use that as our example here to program a description using the quick setup guide. Again, we make sure our key is in program mode. We then enter 2 subtotal, which is the description programming mode. We press the department key we want to program. In this case, we have our pot of tea, like so. Then using our keyboard over here, we can enter in the text to go on the key. On our numerical keys here, you'll notice on the front face of the keys, which is easier to see as you're looking down on them, it has each of the letters of the alphabet much in the same manner of a mobile phone, A, B, C, D, E, F, and so forth. We use that to enter our descriptions onto the key. So we move over here to, we're looking for pot of tea. So P is the first letter on numerical key 1, which we press P. P is then showed in the operator display here. Just let you know you've chosen the right number. We then move to O. It's the third letter on that key, so we press it 3 times. Then T. Now we want to use a space to get to OV. We've got a little cross arrow here on the 00 button. We simply press that twice and it moves us along to the next character. I can see here that I also need to press delete. It had a department 0001 description as a default. We can actually just press delete to remove the remainder of that description, and pressing delete once more moves it back. We can then press our enter arrow over again for space. In fact, no, space is here. Apologies. Alright, space is actually under the RC key. Now we move to of 1, 2, 3, and then the F 1, 2, 3, and space again under the RC key, and T, T, E, A, like so. Okay, so we've entered pot of T using our alpha keys on the front side of the numerical keys. We then just press cash to enter that in. You get a little printout. At this stage, you can continue to enter descriptions against your department buttons. When you're finished, you just press subtotal to complete the process. Alright, the next thing we're going to show you on the Casio SEC-300 is how to put your receipt header in. We firstly turn the key around to program, and we enter 2, then subtotal, like so. On the setup guide, it shows you a line number to change for the first line of your receipt. That line number is 132. For the second line of the receipt, it's 232, the third line is 332, and so on. Just refer to the guide to get the exact line numbers. You then press subtotal. It comes up with the default your receipt up there, which is the default first line of the receipt. Just press delete on the bottom of the decimal point key to remove that from the display. We're going to use shop ABC as our shop name. For your other lines, obviously you'd put in your address, phone number, the words tax invoice, and your ABN number also. But we're just going to put the first line, which is the name of our shop, shop ABC. We do that by using the alpha keys, which appear on the face of the numerical keys, and program it like a mobile phone. So for shop, S is the fourth letter on the number 1 button. Just press it 4 times. The letter will display up in the operator display there. H twice, O 3 times, P is there once. Then we need a space, which is under the RC button, and then A. A little trick here: if everything's on the same key, as in A, B, and C, we've got a little arrow here to move you forward to the next available space underneath a 00. B, C, and we just press cash to finish, and subtotal to finalise.